It's 6:30 PM. Call to order the July 8th meeting for the Merrimack Conservation Commission. All permit members are here. Steve and Danielle are not here. First order of business, Canote LLC applicant and Connor Biote. A review for recommendations to the planning board regarding a four-lot subdivision. The parcel is located on 103 Severns Bridge Road in the R2 Residential by Silos Aquifer Conservation Districts, tax map 3A, lot 055.
Good evening. My name is Matt Peterson, Keach Nordstrom Associates, here representing the proposed project in front of the COMCOM tonight at 103 Severns Bridge Road, or Severns Bridge Road, whichever is the proper way to state that one there. Just to give you a little background, I'm not sure which plans were submitted to you or if you got two separate copies of plans, but we started this with a full submittal to the planning board for a four-lot subdivision that had a road, Clover Hill Lane, proposed in it. We submitted these plans here, as you see in front of you, to the planning board, and then had our TRC meeting with Dawn, DPW, Robert, and them. And Dawn was adamant that she's like, I don't want this little roadway here. It's 300 feet of road that I've got to maintain. If you take a look at what goes with that road, the design, we had a detention pond in front. We also had a little sediment basin to the left side. And then we had a long drainage line that had to run out to the abutting property to properly treat the water for the town road.
What we have does not include that.
Yep, so I'm just giving you a little history here. So once we met with Dawn, they said, listen, could you go to the zoning board and ask for a variance for lot frontage instead? And we said, oh, well, I mean, we could, but that's interesting because you're asking we can get the four lots this way. So we then proceeded to the zoning board where we had very similar, as you can see, this plan here is what we're proposing, 4 lots, frontage along it. And this is what we originally had submitted. You know, so just a little kink in the lots and the road coming in. So very similar plan set. The zoning board at the first hearing, we actually were 2-2 push. They didn't really understand why we were going with the frontage lot instead of the town road. The DPW then wrote a letter to the board explaining that this was them asking, not because they thought we were trying to get out and build a road, blah, blah, blah. Dawn explained to them. About 2 weeks ago, we ended up getting, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. We ended up getting the variance for this here. This parcel is about 13.65 acres in size. There is an existing house currently sitting right here in the middle of it, pretty much. That will be raised. We are proposing these 4 frontage lots that will yield something along these lines here for the homes that would have frontage up on Severns Bridge Road. They also asked us to do 2 common driveways, so there won't be 4 curb cuts. There'll just be 2 curb cuts with 2 of the houses on each of those curb cuts. The other big thing that this did is it substantially reduced the amount of tree cutting that we were going to do. It reduced it by about 39.5%. In how much we were going to have to cut for the trees to put the houses in, put the road in, put the detention pond, everything like that. So it made sense from a lot of different reasons, from the DPW standpoint, from the aesthetics of the area, keeping the trees, keeping the buffers and stuff like that, to come in with this 4-lot subdivision that's here. Obviously, this is in the Aquifer District. I think if you saw a copy of Dawn's DPW letter, there was a lot of concerns from her with this is pretty close to the brook. And treatment of a town road and how they would do that with salt or sand. Obviously, they'd like to do salt with paved roads. So again, this reduced all the need for that. It brings us down to 4 residential homes with front yards and a lot cleaner from a lot of different standpoints. So pretty straightforward application. I'm not sure what your comments or questions would be, but I can try to answer any of them that you have. Thank you very much.
This property doesn't abut any of our other conservation areas, but is there any reason to have the lots this big? Is there any ability to do like a cluster zone and leave 8 or 9 acres in the back, just open land that's commonly owned?
2 things. This is kind of this is doing that entity without putting it into an easement or something like that, as you know, is very difficult to get somebody to own. So, I mean, we'd be willing to say a no cut or something on the back, an easement or deed restriction if that's something COMCOM, but I think that's already kind of set with this and the way it's laid out. If you take a look at the property, you know, right now you can see there's a lot of just trails that they had through the property. Those are all the trails we picked up. And then it slopes up to the top there. So this is all proposed to stay wooded from there to the top. So basically, you know, all these back of these lots are already just left in that manner for wildlife and stuff like that.
Is there some verbiage we could put in the deed to make sure that doesn't get cut back there? Some type of, and again, you know, my deal would be individual conservation easement over a sub-lot. But if they feel the need to have to own, you know, 4 acres versus an acre and then some extra area.
It's
in the
more
back.
so I can't, like, unless you guys are willing to accept it. Most conservation commissioners don't want a piece of land in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, no, I know, that's what I'm saying, it would have to be part of the subdivision.
Yes, okay, I
Right,
agree with you there.
right.
So they're still gonna own the land?
Yes,
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
No, we don't have any issues with something from, you know, the halfway point back or something like that. That would be a no-cut area, something along those lines. We could, you know, put a note in the plan to that extent.
okay, yeah, I think, well, that's my personal opinion, you guys can, yeah, you name me, but I would like to see something like that.
I think, given the fact that there's the PSNH easement
Right.
behind it, they would probably want to leave the trees intact.
Yeah. Yeah, both of these properties, 2 of the properties will actually have the easement in them, part of the PSNH easement. But there's a lot of a greenway going through that area, and it would be, I don't know, I think in the best interest to keep it that way.
And when do you go before the planning board?
We continue to the July 31st, I believe is the Tuesday.
Okay.
Oh, no, they weren't having that one. It's in August. It's the August one, August 5th or 6th, whatever the next one is.
Can you get to page 8, the last page?
All my notes are.
So, in the first couple paragraphs there, that section, there's a blanket statement about adding fertilizer per the chart below, right?
Yep.
So, can we have the soil tested prior to adding fertilizer? So you're adding what you need versus a general, it's,
Thought we used to have a note to say that the applicant should have it tested prior to, but I can put the standard Merrimack notes that I have for that.
Yeah.
Because it talked about the application rates, have it tested beforehand so that if you don't need the pH stat, take it out, but that's a standard Merrimack ones we've got in file.
yeah, because you're in the aquifer protection, aquifer conservation, so all those fertilizers right there you list have, you know, phosphorus, which is, to us, a no-no.
Mhm. I would put in like the Green Pro notes that we have and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I thought you were gonna catch it. I still had a hay bale instead of straw somewhere. I'm like, no, you gotta be.
No, I did, yes.
I was like, that's
I
still
saw the
here
straw, I
20
said,
years
"Thank you."
later. Come on.
That was the extent of my comments.
That's what I had. So thank you.
Well, thank you for checking the vegetation too and keeping it off the invasive list.
Does anyone else have any other comments or questions? Okay. I will,
Can I just, one thing to add to your comments?
Please.
Because Robert and them don't come back to us with something here, but like if we said, I would say like at the 400 or 450 mark, 400 mark would be right around here.
Okay.
Just to give an, you know, in case we say the back half and towns can ask what.
Right,
they agree
yeah.
to. But if I said 400 to 450 feet, the back half, and that would leave over 600 feet there, about 300 feet there, 600, 300 there, so somewhere between 400 and 450.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
just so there's a number for Robert
Right.
and them to know what we're thinking.
That's gonna make it clearer later on down the line anyway, so.
Yes, yep.
Well, just so I can get like the correct notes in the letter to the planning board, what are we like asking for? How much of
A
the land?
no-cut restriction on the back half of the lot, starting at approximately 450 feet from Severns Road back.
And that would be in the deed.
And it can be in the deed. I was gonna put a note on the plan, but in the
Yeah.
deed as well. That's fine too.
Okay,
Because if we, the minute we ask for a conservation easement, then we have to manage that property, so.
okay. I'll take those notes and I will send our recommendation to the planning board sometime this week.
No rush. Thank you
Yep.
very much. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for coming. Okay, next item under new business, review of shoreland permit application from Roland K. and Elaine M. Engelhart. The proposal intends to permit after-the-fact disturbances associated with the repair/enclosing of the existing deck and the installation of retaining walls and steps. This proposal will also reclaim an area of gravel within 250 feet of Babusick Lake. The parcel is located at 32 Shore Drive, tax map 6A-2, lot 018.
Do we have documents on this?
No, from my understanding, the application was too big to put in email, and we were given a physical copy, a single physical copy. Is it-
There was quite a bit in the email. I mean, there's some pictured files and.
Yeah.
This may be it, I picked it up off the table.
Is that the
Okay.
only copy?
Well, they gave us the, this is the shoreline permit. So there's no-
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
this
I
is
had.
advisory.
Karis, what are you looking for in particular? Karis, I'm sorry. What are you looking for in particular in the shoreline?
Oh,
We can try to
I-
find it for you, so you don't have to,
I did not get a chance to,
oh, okay.
check to see the document online. So I was just wondering if we had something to look at as reference.
There's
And
pictures.
Jennifer has her computer open, so this is great.
And Eric, am I correct that as a shoreline permit application, this is advisory more than,
I would think so,
Yeah.
So what are we? So
We're being
what
made
are we
aware of
asked
it.
to? Just being made
we
aware
are
of it?
being made aware of it, there's no vote necessary, but we need to know what's going on,
Okay,
because it's near
Because
the
again,
lake.
this is after the fact. This work's already been done.
Did we have this come before us? Seems to me
Yeah,
I
we had,
remember this coming before
we had
us.
something about a walkway.
Yeah, on
There
the
was-
Jackson Lake.
That's
Last
right.
year, I
Yeah, it was
think.
last year, I don't know if it was this property.
But I remember they were moving the deck and rebuilding the stone wall, and
It seems to be what's
It was-
going on
Yeah.
here.
it was pretty much net zero on all, sorry. It was pretty much net zero on all the changes,
And it was repairing things that were falling into disrepair.
yes. And no change in footprint or permeability.
okay, so if this is just something we're being made aware of, then I recommend everyone, take a quick look at the,
That's the house.
everything that was included in the email. But we don't have to make any sort of recommendation or any fixes tonight if we were to find anything to fix. Any comments on it?
Again, we have the same comment here about, it says lime and fertilizer shall be incorporated into the soil. They are on the waterfront, so there's no phosphorus that middle number needs to be 0, and they should have the soil tested prior to adding anything.
Okay. If that is all for new business, we can move on to discussion and possible actions regarding other items of concern. First thing is the ongoing discussion regarding potential education programs. Karis, were you able to come up with anything?
I have notes for you. It sounds like Gage also has some information for me that I can add to the investigation into talks. So in reference to the lawn alternatives talk, we have 2 options that I found. One will not be available until next spring, and that's Fassett Farm Nurseries. I think it's in western New Hampshire. Fassett Farms. Fasset. Good question, that's right, you're right in the minutes. And I've followed them on Facebook, so I've seen them before, and I actually asked them, if they had other suggestions for people to do the talk, and he recommended someone named Owen Wormser, who wrote a book called Lawns into Meadows, and I contacted Owen, and he does do a talk, and he sent me I requested the outline, and he sent that to me. He does charge $500 to do a talk, which is more expensive than the New Hampshire Extension, but they don't have this talk. So that's a price to keep in mind. I would also, I can contact Fassett Farms and ask how much they would charge, or how much they would request. Sometimes it's just transportation, sometimes, Owen Wormser is a professional who wrote a book, so he charges more. And we got many responses from our survey about what topics people would be interested in, including somebody who doesn't want any talks and thinks we're a waste of time and money. So my suggested talk is that we have a talk about what we do for the community. But actually, I'll just do a monthly Facebook post about what we accomplished that month instead, and keep it positive. And the Garden Club also does many educational talks, and they use New Hampshire Extension, so I'm going to keep an eye on their schedule to make sure that we don't overlap, because their talks are open to the public. And that is what I have learned and discovered.
So 2 items. First, I reached out to the Nashua Regional Planning Commission, Tim Tenhave. Their recent forum a few weeks ago was on soil quality, lawn care, and water preservation. He is reaching out to one of his directors to see if they can find information or potentially a speaker for us on that topic. And also, do we have any information or speakers on the concept of landscaping and shrubs as a replacement? And I ask for personal information also. I just cleared about 1,200 square feet of lawn and dead trees, and we're trying to decide what to put in there.
Right, because most things seem like they're native wildflowers is what everyone talks about. But you're looking for more native shrubs and
Flowers work.
flowers work. There are definitely, specifically the New Hampshire Extension has talks on integrating natives into your landscape. The Garden Club did sponsor that talk this past spring, But if there was interest in that again, we could absolutely sponsor it again.
Did they record it?
That's a good question. I can look into
Because
that.
that's, whatever we do, we should record. I mean, we.
As long
every-
as we're allowed to. I don't know if they have
Well, that's what I'm saying.
rules
We,
about that.
we've made that part of our, we're gonna pay you to talk, we're going to record it.
Right.
So we can use
Okay.
it later or let people see it and read it later. So that should be at least something we put into our proposals.
Okay.
Just to follow up on what Kara said, I did speak to GZA. We've got a history with them they've done a lot of work for us in the past. And they would be interested in supporting that effort, talks and whatever. So they'll be willing to do some research and do a talk. I've not gotten into anything.
Who was that again?
GZA Environmental?
They're a consulting firm in Bedford, Goffstown.
I guess that's Bedford. They're on Route 3. Continuous highway there, right over across from, up towards the Lowe's. They've done a lot of work for us in the past. They did that whole water level management survey for us. They've done a lot of work for us in the past and very good work. So,
Thank you.
Well, Karis, I appreciate the work you put into this. I think it's important that we make sure if people don't wish to attend, that's fine, but I think something that comes up with us over and over again is what do we do with invasives? How do we get volunteers? People want to know what they can do with their lawns and their property.
Yeah.
And if we can just address those three things, that would be a year's worth of programs right
Yep,
there. So
yep.
I like hearing this.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do research on my own into this, but I've not had the time, so thank you for doing what I can't do.
I also
Ah.
wonder if we wouldn't want to work with another local conservation commission to sponsor a talk like Owen Wormser. That would split the cost for both of our commissions, and it would increase the number of people who could attend.
we kind of co-own property with Amherst, so there's no reason we shouldn't continue to reach out to them.
Okay.
We've done a lot of work with them in the past, with Greater Woods.
Do I have permission to reach out to them and propose that we,
Yeah,
Yeah,
specifically Owen Wormser?
sure. I mean,
Okay.
Is
What
the
would they
Chapel
say?
Hill
Yeah.
Educational Farm in Amherst?
Chapel Hill?
Yes.
I think that's in Bedford. Is that wrong? Is it Bedford?
Never quite figured out which.
Yeah, I have to go look. I don't know.
Who is the contact at Amherst?
The chairman?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just, I guess, go on the website.
Go on the town site.
We could probably get a contact for you, Karis.
Okay.
If you want to actually.
I mean, I can just figure out their chair and email them too, that's fine.
Says Bedford.
Is it? Yeah.
Okay, anything else regarding education outreach? Okay. That moves us on to subcommittee appointments. So, while we've been trying to figure everything out, we've delayed so our original plan was we were gonna appoint Mike June to a one-year term and move Karis to a three-year term on the SCLAR subcommittee. I have gotten back, I've heard back from, who did I hear back from?
This was from Robert Price.
Yep, Robert Price. So basically, he said about shifting Karis from a 1 to a 3-year term, don't bother
So
doing that.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, and really, the Scholar Subcommittee and potentially other subcommittees, I would assume, like whose terms are staggered, like the terms aren't staggered like as well as we would want to stagger them. So he recommended maybe next year, as we start next year's annual year, we set about restaggering people's terms so that they expire in a more balanced manner. Whether that means just going forward, when we reappoint people, we appoint them to certain terms, or maybe we can just reset everyone's terms to a certain amount of time. I'm not sure which that would be, but we have almost a year to decide on that. But so basically, we can skip Karis's part and go right on to the Michael Druin appointment for 1 year. No one Scholar Subcommittee has had any issue with it. The town council has no issues with it. So,
At the last meeting, somebody asked if he was a resident of Merrimack.
He is.
I confirmed that he is.
microphone.
Oh, it is on.
Try again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's not on. I thought I had it on. Sorry.
It's okay, Tom. It's okay.
But yeah, so, as you were saying, yeah, so it was a question of, is he a resident of Merrimack? Karis looked into it, and yes, he is a resident of Merrimack. So there's no issue there.
So is he gonna be, is this gonna be a vote for a 3-year term?
One
One
Nope,
year
still a
term.
1-year
Okay,
term.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I am willing to make a motion, if you'd like.
Yep.
I move that we approve that we appoint Michael Druin to the Sklar Subcommittee as a full member with a term to expire June 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Who seconded?
I did. Am I allowed a second? Even though I'm
Yeah.
chairman? Okay,
Mhm.
good. Any discussion?
You did a good job, I think, in the last meeting, expressing our concern regarding his activities and responses to this commission. I think that's, I don't know if you can summarize what you'd said before, if you remember.
Yeah, just for, basically what I said was, we can kind of look at this as sort of a probationary period. I don't want to see any of the past behavior continuing. That would include define, the policies we set forth as a commission, insulting or disrespecting people online, and basically just overall just unprofessional behavior that I don't think any of us appreciated during his time on the commission. And I don't exactly know what powers we do have over subcommittees exactly, but basically I'd expect the Sklar Subcommittee, if they were to face any of these issues again, to handle it themselves, to govern themselves basically on this matter. And I do have confidence that they can do that. And
I
yeah.
made the motion knowing that it was a 1-year term, having been reassured by the members of the commission who work with Sklar that communications is a concern and will continue to be, and they're going to strive for good communication. In view of that, I'm willing to support a 1-year term.
Okay, is there any more discussion that anyone would like to give? Okay, so then for the motion, all in favor? All opposed? All abstained?
I'm going to abstain just
Okay,
because I'm
fair
jumping
enough.
in midstream on the
Yeah.
topic.
Okay, so then the motion passes 6-0 to 1. With that, we now come to approval of the minutes.
Okay, I have 3 minor comments, corrections to make.
Oh, wait, I should make the motion first, shouldn't I?
Just move that we accept
I move to accept the minutes with amendments as followed. Is that
amendments of the June 24th meeting.
June 24th meeting with amendments as followed?
Second.
Okay, now we can. Now it's official. Now it's legal.
Line 39, the last sentence should read, "Also included was a supply of nails to affix trail markers to trees." On line 41, Commissioner Martinson asked for advice on the process of, that should be submitting a request. And then on line 189, for adjournment, apparently I got a promotion to chairman.
We tried.
Yeah. I have a couple. I don't know if this is necessary, but line 103, there should be a dollar sign in front of that number, 3335. And line 83, I wrote down, instead of the word "they," we should use something more specific, Beaver Solutions. There's no reference to that pronoun that's close by, so it would be confusing for somebody.
Okay.
On page 5, line 175, MEMBA should be NEMBA, the New England Northeast Mountain Bike Association. So it came out MEMBA, so it's as though I typed it. NEMBA is what it should be.
What line is that?
That was 175, top of page 5. And on page 2, line 74, I think it's Beaver Solutions contract proposal rather than contraction.
What line was that again?
That was 74.
Can I back up a bit? I did have a question about Mike Druin's appointment. I don't know if there's anything that we can do, or even that we want to do about this, but we have no leadership infrastructure right now in that committee. We have an acting chairperson. I have a feeling that there may be some people who would like to see Mike Druin become the chairperson of the committee. I'm probably, if I'm at the meeting and that comes up, I'm going to say I don't recommend it. But I think it's going to come up.
And we are all advised of the dates of the subcommittee meetings through our email and posted on the site, and anyone is free to attend any subcommittee meeting at any time,
All right,
and is encouraged to do so.
all right.
When I started with the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee, we were told that organization and leadership of the subcommittee was strictly up to us.
Strictly what?
Up to us.
Okay,
It's up, yeah, up to the subcommittee.
Yeah,
yeah,
I would say I wouldn't recommend it, but
So,
I
yeah, we-
will not do anything to oppose that move.
to oppose his being,
Yeah, they have the right to do that.
yeah, yeah,
And I won't
okay.
Yeah.
make any move against
Yeah,
it.
I'll go on record, though, that I strongly think that's a really bad idea. That's what got us into problems the first time, was him in a leadership role.
I would agree with that.
I will
Yeah,
convey that to the committee,
Yeah.
to the subcommittee.
And these are all public also, so they can watch the tape and
Yep,
So a question on subcommittee appointments. I know when you appoint a new member to a subcommittee, they are approved by the Conservation Commission. What about if somebody just renews their term?
That still gets approved by the
Okay,
commission.
because that's effectively our one check if something does go off the rails
Yes.
again.
And it also lets community development keep a current list of who's where, and I, for one, need to see that periodically through the year just for administrative purposes, so,
Mhm.
yeah.
is that list actually done now?
This is as of last September, and these are the changes since then, so it's time for a new one. I'll ask Stephanie about that.
If we could send that out, that'd be great too.
I'll see to that.
That was a long time coming. I started that with, who was it? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, any more changes to the minutes? though? Okay, then we can vote on that. All who've, I forgot how to say this. Anyone,
All in favor? of
all in
approving
favor,
the
that's
minutes?
the all in favor. All in favor of approving the minutes
As amended.
as amended? All opposed? All abstaining? Okay, so that passes 6-0 to 1.
Did you oppose?
I abstained
Jen abstained.
since I wasn't here.
Okay.
Okay, that does move us on to commissioner comments, if anyone does have anything to comment.
Okay.
I will just add that, and some of you already know this, but I got a message from, was it ComDev? Yeah, ComDev, talking about changes to our purchasing policy. Tom, Ellen, and Gage have already gotten that email. I think just to be safe, I'll send out the emails to everyone. I mean, some of the, it's just that, there are special policies when we're making a purchase of over $1,000. And there's also, there's no reimbursement, is that, did I read the email correctly?
That is
There is
correct.
no reimbursement, okay. Yeah, so I will, send out those emails to pairs. Also remember, not that anyone has violated this recently, but when emailing people, make sure it's it's 3 or less members of the Conservation Commission, otherwise it's a quorum, it's a meeting. So I'm gonna be sending out to 2 of you at a time.
Stephanie provided
Oh,
printed copies.
okay.
And
Oh, I
they're
thought
on the
it was just
table
you.
over there.
I also thought you were allowed to
I think you can do notification.
send an email out to the whole Conservation
Can't?
Commission, but they can't respond.
Just
to
don't
it.
hit
Oh, they can't
reply all.
respond.
Don't
Okay.
reply.
You don't,
Yeah.
don't hit reply all, ever.
Yeah,
For any-
never.
Even at work, don't
Okay.
ever do that.
So we can send to the whole group, we just can't,
Yeah, don't create a meeting.
right.
Don't-
No
don't-
conversation.
Don't try to start business,
Don't
don't try
make
to
it a
ask questions.
discussion.
It's, today we are doing a work day here, here's a date and time and starts,
Okay,
and
that makes
Yeah.
more sense.
that's it.
Yeah, so when you reply, just don't reply, I'll just reply to one person.
Yeah.
So if I understand this, basically the email, the memo that's come out from ComDev, everybody, Finance, ComDev, and the Conservation Commission, were in search of consistency, and ComDev will be producing for our consideration amendments to the rules of procedure, and we can look forward to having that in the future. I do not know what this means for the votes we took at the last meeting, but Community Development is aware of them, obviously, and I think anyone directly related to those can communicate with
Yep.
Community Development to see what's up.
'Cause we're not gonna be able to meet one of their requirements.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Because
grateful for this
Beaver Solutions
communication
is the only
because
company, right?
I've been here almost 3 years
one of
and
them.
I've not seen a written policy, so I'll look forward to having one. I think that'll help us moving ahead.
Yeah, they're out of Montana, I don't think they're gonna travel here.
Yeah. I have another subject. I don't know if I need permission for this, but like, if we need things printed or copied, can we ask ComDev to do that?
Yep.
And then, I created a flyer about the Restore a Plot project, thinking maybe we could get colored copies and put them in the kiosks. And then my question is, how many kiosks do we have?
Wildcat Falls.
Wildcat has one, I think.
Sklar
think-
has one.
2 for Horse Hill.
It's two for-
we
there's
have,
2 for Horse Hill, there's
I
2 at
think
Greater
Greater Hill
Woods.
has 2. I mean, not Greater Hill,
Greater Woods got
Greater
2.
Woods.
Yep.
We got one at.
We got
Wild-
one at
one
BB,
Wildcat,
one at BB and one at the middle school.
That's
Oh,
8.
and one at Conservation, so Greater Woods got 3.
I'm sorry.
Greater Woods has 3, because there's one in the Conservation Drive, too.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then if I get those, I have no idea where these places are.
It's time to go walk
I
about.
love conservation.
And
You do
what
that
tool-
with 2 young children.
And what
Reach out to
tools
me
you
for
need to
this.
access them.
Yes,
Yeah.
that too.
Wildcat Falls requires a Phillips head screwdriver.
And now you just told everybody.
Well,
It's pretty obvious if you walk
Yeah, I know.
by it.
yeah, if you walk up.
Let us know when it's ready, and the members who are on different subcommittees can take it from there.
Okay, you can all send me an individual email in response.
Well, and there's obviously one down Scalar too.
I included that.
Does Wasserman have a kiosk
Yes.
that we,
And yeah,
maintain?
at the far end of the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Gilmore Hill?
Should I just do like 15 and any extras we'll
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
post
saying.
around
If you,
town?
if you do 15 or 20 of them, that'll be enough, and
Okay.
they'll have some that they can put on the,
The library has a community board that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just, one more thing, it's not, doesn't relate to anything else we've been talking about. I'm gonna ask Eric, to put on the agenda for our next meeting, an opportunity for me to talk about what's going on at SCLAR, and I might ask some of the SCLAR committee members to, subcommittee members to show up. There's a lot going on, and it's difficult to address most of it. And I want that to come to this committee and a commission, and maybe together we can come up with some solutions for some of the problems that are existing.
So when you're saying a lot going on, there's a lot of things going on that are bad.
A lot of things that are going on that need attention.
Okay.
I'll give you more detail. I don't
Yeah.
have a list right now in front of me, but I'll give you more on that at the
So-
next meeting.
We've got a lot of turnover here. One of the things that we have in the past talked to the highway department about is they've made it clear that if we have stuff that needs to be moved, like large stones, because we were trying to get a bunch of large stones down to Scalar, if we have a single location, they can go pick stuff up and drive it down there in one load, they'll do it for us.
Okay.
So there's things like that, as you go around town, you see construction sites, or you see, large rocks, and stop and talk to the GCs, find out if they're trying to get rid of them, or trying to use them. And we may be able to get the highway department to go pick them up and drop them off there, because we do need more barriers down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's almost impossible to keep boulders where we want to
Yep.
put them, because I don't know how they move them, but they do. I had another question too. I know that Steve Perkins has been, if there's a tree that has fallen across a trail and it needs to be removed, he's the guy that contacts whoever he has to contact. Does he do that for other things as well? Or, I would like to talk to somebody about, one of the problems they have at SCLAR is the trails are almost impassable because the grass is so tall. And what's been happening in the past is somebody does a rental from Home Depot and goes down and mows it. And that's not a sustainable solution.
No.
So I just wonder
yes.
if there's anybody that would be able to call DPW and say, what can you do about this?
Yeah, so there was a tree down at Horse Hill, blocking a trail, just a few weeks ago. Steve told me to forward that to, try and look for her here.
Lori?
Lori, Halverson? Halverson?
Okay.
Yeah. She's with Highways, right?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
DPW Highway
Yeah.
Department.
And they got it fixed next day, maybe 2 days later, but
Okay.
that week they got
Okay.
it fixed.
They're pretty responsive to the trees.
Yeah.
Because they get to go out in the woods.
Yeah, so,
They've done some mowing for us also up in Greater Woods. So,
And at Wildcat
and
Falls.
Wildcat, so I mean, we need to get on their cycle. So you just need to,
Okay,
give her a
Yep.
list of the areas, a map,
okay,
and, yeah, they'll be able to get that truck down there, because it's just under the bridge, so.
okay.
Yep.
But we try to minimize the number of people that go to Lori. So
Right,
it's good to just
Yeah.
funnel it through one person, so she's not trying to figure out who's who in the zoo.
yeah, so maybe better to just email me and then,
okay, I'll do that, I'll do
or,
that,
yeah.
okay.
Has there been any more movement on getting an entrance road sign for Sklar Park?
Danielle is supposed to be working on it. I haven't heard from her or seen her, so I don't know.
My understanding is she's making the sign?
Yes.
And the last time we discussed it, I think it was 2 meetings ago, I went out to Sklar the next day, and the very area she was gonna
Yeah.
look at to put a sign in was having work done on it by
Yeah.
another town department, so that didn't, I don't know how much that held things up, but.
I can't believe we're gonna be able to get with one sign there. We're gonna need 2. You know, because there's gonna be one down the bottom of the road, and then one at the corner, you know, to hairpin people back down that way.
I'm sure we'll have opportunities to discuss this in the future.
A big old sign that says, "Turn around," it was behind you, but you missed the turn.
We need to
Rear view
print
mirror.
a sign backwards like they
Yeah.
do on ambulances.
Right, so you look in your rearview mirror, you see it?
That makes a whole lot of sense.
But yeah, so I will put SCAR updates onto the next
Thank you.
agenda.
Thank you.
I assume we haven't hit the deadline for the next meeting yet.
Are you adding the website to the next meeting?
Yes, that has already been added, I
Oh,
believe.
great, okay.
Yeah, the deadline for this meeting came up a lot sooner than I was expecting.
They all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have to get used to that,
Was
but,
it 11 days?
so I'll make sure to send, SCAR updates, add that to agenda tonight. And, any more commissioner comments?
I have one, and I don't know if we could talk about this after. So I was just doing a little reading to try to catch up on things, and I noticed on the town website for the Conservation Commission page, it states the meetings are the second and fourth Monday, and then there's a link to a document about agenda submissions. That document states the meetings are first and third Mondays in the Memorial Room, and it was last revised May of 2000. So maybe adding that to a future agenda to update as well.
Did you say that was on the town website or our website? Okay.
And by the way, I want to say hello to Jen, and I'm glad she's our ex officio now, and I look
Thank
forward
you.
to working with her.
Thanks very much. I look forward to catching up and getting up to speed on everything.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more commissioner comments, then I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned at 7:18 PM.